Greetings everyone, this is Diane Camo. Thank you for joining me for this tutorial. Today we are making our patches and I'm just going to show you my entire process. So one of the items that I made for myself was a patch template that I could use to facilitate cutting out my patch twill. So let's see what this is all about, and I'll help you to understand what I mean. I intend to make a lot of patches, and so that just drove this particular effort in making a template for myself so that it would be a lot easier and quicker. After you download your design zip file, you would have gotten an email with a download link. If you have any issues, please be sure to use the Contact Us button at the top of the order screen. An email should come to you with a link. You're going to click on the link and download. Once you download, you're going to extract the files. And when you extract your files, you should see two folders created. One has Katie patches in it and the other one is the magnet set 2. Now both of these are using the same design, but they're two completely different in the hoop projects, and today we're going to focus on the patches. When you open the Katie patches folder, you'll see a list of folders, and each of these folder names represent the type of embroidery machine file format that's been included. If your file format is not in this list, just give me a quick email and I will generate your files for you separately. These are the most common. All right, so in my case, I'm going to go into the PES folder, which is the brother format. Inside each folder, you will see the patches set 1, number 1 through number 5A, B, and then 6. So let me tell you the difference between A and B. A file on this particular design is a 3-color, and I call this the infinity pattern. The B is 6, so each ring is a separate color. I thought that would be kind of fun for you all. But in this case, what we want to do is create our own template for whatever size hoop we have that we want to use to put that number of designs in. So what you're going to want to do is go to this particular design, the twill cut step 1. So it's just a placement stitch. It is the exact placement stitch that you would have had to rerun in each of those files in order to get that one. You're going to load that into your software. Now every person's embroidery software will look different, but in most cases you will find you have the same functionality. So I'll do my best to describe the functionality so that it will be easy for you to use the language that I'm giving you to find what you need to do in your software. Once you have loaded your design into your software, what you'd want to do is create a boundary in some fashion. There's several different ways you can do that. You can add a stitch box that is the size that your hoop stitches in. In this case, I'm pulling down the actual hoop that I want to use, which is in my case 272 by 272. And so now what I can do is I can position this first iteration of my template, and being really careful not to resize this. And then what I want to do is duplicate it. In fact, if I were telling you true, I'd be duplicating it first and then moving the duplicate ones around so that if something should happen, that first one would always be correct. And so I'm just going to continue to duplicate these. Again, I can right click on them and get the duplicate. So let's talk about making this be a nice hoop. And so I'm also going to be concerned about, are these aligned? And so I'm going to make that first row in my software. I can do alignments in a few different ways. So I'm going to align the top, and then I'm also going to distribute them evenly across. And then what I'm going to do is position that at 0. And from this point, I can duplicate those 3 and pull them down. And this time I can position it at, let's see, I want position Y to be, I want this position to be 0. And there we have it. So we are now aligned there. And I'm going to duplicate it. And this time I'm just right clicking. I could do a Control D in my software, and I'm going to pull it down. Now you can also put snaps on your grid. I'm not showing my grid right now. I can do that by just turning it on. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can make this happen for yourself very easily. Now, once you have it all together, if you group each of these sets of 3 in my software, then what I can do, and I'm using the strip over here. In some softwares, it's called a film strip. In this case, it's called the sequence tab. And so that's where I can do a quick, selection without having to worry about getting something in there that I really don't want. Once I'm done grouping them, I can select each group, and then I can space them evenly up and down. And then I can take that whole space and do, let's see, I think I can do actually what I can do is just move it up to the 0 position here, like that. And now it's going to be perfectly centered in your hoop when you bring it into your hoop. So, and I would highly recommend that you do that. So that's a quick and dirty how you can create a design, and then of course you would export this and you would save it as your particular machine type. So that's how you do that one. Now that we have that part done, I'm going to complete this tutorial by using just one of the patches, and so let's get started on that. I have cut a small square, a little over 3 inches square of the patch twill. See how nice and thin that is, but it's very, very stiff. I really like this for patches. They really come out nice. And I'm going to place it over, I've sprayed it with 505. I'm going to place it over covering the entire design. And I'm going to go back and stitch that placement line again. So I'm just using my machine to go backwards. And I'm going to have it stitch the placement line again. I'm going to hang on to this so that it doesn't go flying around. Looks like I got pretty close to the edge. There we go. All right. Now, what you're going to do is remove this from the hoop, and we are going to trim all along right on the thread. So what you're going to want to do is cut right along the thread, right through the twill and the stabilizer. So this is just tearaway stabilizer, but what I want to do is make a very accurate template and cut my piece all at the same time. It's a little easier to cut out a template that you can reuse as something that you trace directly onto twill by doing it this way. So the twill is really helping me to keep my scissors put right on that line. You really want to cut right on that thread. It'll be most accurate if you do that. If you bobble a little, you know, it should still catch. You've got quite a bit of catch that's going to happen on the next tack down stitch. It does a boxed tack down, so it's going to go back and forth over. So as you can see, I have threads that are sticking out. You can just go ahead and pull those off, and what you're going to end up with is a template made out of your tearaway stabilizer. I'm just pulling those threads off, and it's stuck there pretty good, so just give it a little pull because I used 505. In the larger hoop that you saw earlier, I did not put 505 on this, so it came out really easy. But you have this, and now it's got a little bit of tackness, so you can use this again, putting it on your twill. So I move my twill over here. So now you can use your paper copy and just stick it on your twill, trace around the shape, and cut on the inside of what you would have drawn in, and just use a light colored, you know, on this white. If you've got black twill, which is something I also want to use, then use chalk and just go, when you're cutting, your line will be on the inside where you're going to want to trim. I think you understand that. Okay, so we have a twill patch. It still has a little bit of 505 on it, I'm happy to say, because now we can move on to the next step. I've hooped 2 layers of water-soluble stabilizer, and I will put a link below this video for the products that I actually have in my hoop. But what you want for a combination is 1 layer of film, and preferably a very heavy film, the heavier the better, and like a Badge Master, and a layer of non-woven. In this case, I'm using Dimes product that is a sticky back, so I actually stuck the film to the woven and then hooped the 2 of them together. So that should work out pretty nicely, but it's the first time I've tried this, so we'll discover together. So I'm going to do the placement line. And then I have sprayed the back of my twill circle. As you can see, things are sticking to it, with 505 spray, so that I can take my time positioning this in the hoop and making sure that it's, you know, just gonna be right along those edges nicely. So I'm lining those edges up to the stitch line. And as you can see, by doing the template the way I did, it fits perfectly. Okay, so now I'm going to do the next color, which is the tack down stitch. And I don't have 505 all over the back. I just have it so that I can strategically keep it without my fingers being in the way. So, and as you can see, it's grabbing very nicely. All right, now I designed these so that they could be sewn on patches for your jacket or your purse or whatever. And so I'm going to go ahead and do the Merrily stitch around the outside, and then my design goes on the inside. And then after that, I can either put like Heat and Bond on the back, or any other product if I want to fuse it. So, and I also I'm doing a red, white, and blue theme for this one. I needed something patriotic. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing so many out of the gate, because I have a pencil tree and I thought it would be really cute to have some red, white, and blue ornaments on it. So I'm actually gonna use these, I'm gonna put them back to back and stick a ribbon in there. But this first one is just gonna be a regular patch. I'll probably put it on a purse or something. Let me know what you think. It's a really fun and easy stitch. This is the part you can walk away, I guess, although it is rather mesmerizing to watch. Okay, so I've just finished trimming away the I'll just put my hand behind it, the water-soluble stabilizer, and that's about as close as I dare to get. And so now what I'm going to do is just, I don't know, get a white paper, wet paper towel, or a facial swiper, and get that moist. And what I want to do is just get all of that wetness off. So after I've had a chance to do that, I will bring it back and show you. So as you can see, I have finished removing the final pieces of water-soluble stabilizer. I ended up just going to the kitchen sink and wetting a paper towel and just gently rubbing it along the edge until all of that stabilizer was removed. And here I want to show you the difference between using the twill as the background for your patch and regular quilter's cotton backed with SF101. There's quite a bit of difference here, and I think you'll probably agree with me that this twill makes the patch just. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you have found this helpful and that you will share your pictures on our Facebook page of the badges that you finish, or the patches that you finish. And also be sure to look below for links to the products that I've used. Leave a comment and let me know if you have any questions or comments. I love hearing from you, and I love seeing what you all are making. Happy stitching, everyone, and may your bobbin always be full.